how much does it really cost to live in Bali in 2022? That's what we're gonna talk about in this video. If you guys are new to my channel, my name's Adam, welcome. I am a budget traveler, digital nomad living here in Bali right now. This is my third time coming to Bali. And on this trip now, I've actually been tracking my expenses, every single expense, every line item I've spent money on. And for the purpose of this video, I've separated them out into categories to give you guys a better understanding of like how expensive Bali is right now, how expensive or how affordable, depending on how you look at it, right?
So with no further ado, let's dive right into the numbers, starting with accommodation. This month, my girlfriend and I decided to move into a house, a large house in the Peniston neighborhood of Ubud. This house costs us 7.5 million IDR total for the month. So that is $524, which is $262 per person. There's a huge range of how much you could pay on accommodation when you're in Bali. You could probably cut that number in half if you're going on the low end, and obviously the upper end, there's no limit. You could go a lot higher on the upper end for accommodation. Also under accommodation, I traveled to Uluwatu this month and I spent one night in a hotel, and this is what the room looked like. It was $7 a night, and I found that like $5 to $7 a night is about the cheapest option of accommodation that you can find if you're spending one night in a hotel just about anywhere in Bali. Transportation. By far the best way to get around Bali is on a motorbike. I rented a motorbike this month, a Honda Vario, for 700,000 IDR, that's $49. I paid $12 in gas for this bike. And honestly, next month, I'm hoping that those are my only two expenses under transportation. But unfortunately, this month, I also had to take a Gojek to get to the police station, to get to and from the hospital. And while my bike was being impounded by the police, I also had to pay for 2 additional Gojek rides. I'll talk about that more in the unexpected cost section of this video that you're definitely gonna wanna watch and learn more about. Food. As far as food goes, I separated it out into 3 different categories, and you will see why when you look at the price. This is a good example of nasi campur. This is a traditional like Indonesian food, and I absolutely love this food, so I try to eat this quite a bit. This month, I ate 10 meals at Indonesian restaurants. Western restaurants. I actually ate at 20 Western restaurants this month, and the reason I separated out to Western is because of the price difference. On average, for these meals, I paid $5.35 per meal. So that accounted to $107 spent at Western restaurants this month for 20 meals. When you look at it that way, it really doesn't sound that bad. But it doesn't stop there, because we've had a kitchen in our house. We've been picking out recipes and making them. We love to cook, and we have spent $179 at the grocery store this month. But that's not just food. That includes things like bug spray and sunscreen and anything else you can buy at the grocery store. One more thing I should make clear here are these are just my numbers. Multiply it by 2 if you're trying to figure out the budget for a couple, because Hadley, had these same expenses on her end. Moving on, phone plan. Phone plans, data for your phone is very affordable here. I already had a SIM card from the previous month, so this month I just topped up. I paid $7, that's 100,000 IDR, which gave me 26 gigabytes of data for the month. Next up, fun and activities, starting with the gym. I went to 2 different gyms this month. One of them cost $2.80 a day for a day pass, and the other one cost $3.50 for a day pass. I went to the gym 6 times, so altogether I paid $18.20 to go to the gym.
We've been warmly welcomed by the Acro Yoga community here in Bali. We went to 4 meetups last month, and this is what that cost.
We went to a movie theater with a friend. That cost $5.25 per person. For day trips, we went to a monkey forest and a water temple. Here are the prices of those. I made a whole separate video on that. You can click up here to watch that one next. For another day trip, I went to Bali's largest fish market, bought a fish from the local vendors, brought it to a restaurant to have it cooked, and altogether that cost me $8.40, but that price has already been reflected under restaurants. Another amazing thing about being in Bali is the massages are extremely affordable here. I actually got 4 massages this month, and I paid $7 for the first one. I paid $10 for the next 2 massages, and then the 3rd massage was actually free because Hadley and I, my girlfriend and I, had became good friends with the owner of Jane's Spa, and they were rolling out a honeymoon package, and they wanted critical feedback on their service, and there was very little to give. It was an absolutely excellent experience. The next two categories are just a cost of living here in Bali as a foreigner. First is visa renewal. Fortunately, Hadley and I did not have to pay this last month because our business visa is a 60-day visa. But starting next month, we're gonna have to pay about $60 every single month to have our visa extended. And no cost of living video in Bali would be complete without talking about health insurance. Most YouTubers, most travel YouTubers that are here in Bali, that videos that I've watched at least, recommend Safety Wing. Safety Wing offers travel health insurance for $42 a month, which is pretty affordable, but as far as I can tell, they cover nothing as far as motorbike accident goes. And let's be realistic, if you're gonna get in trouble here in Bali and have to go to the hospital, it's probably a result from a motorbike accident. So you definitely want that to be covered by your travel health insurance. So the best plan that I could find was Seven Corners Liaison Travel Plus. This costs $3.33 a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that is $100 every single month, more than double what Safety Wing costs. But I think it's really worth it to have motorbike accidents covered by your travel health insurance when you're here in Bali. Last but not least, the unexpected costs that I had in coming to Bali this last month. There are two of them. They're each over $100. And the first one is actually a hospital visit. I got really sick last month, like really sick, like almost sicker than I've probably ever been before. I ended up getting tested for dengue and typhoid, did not have either of them, which was very fortunate. And I'm happy I went because it was better to be safe than sorry, but altogether that did cost me $144 for that hospital visit.
All right, guys, and the last expense I had this month was actually getting an Indonesian driver's license. I decided to pay an agent to do this. I paid him 1.6 million IDR. That is $112 to get the Indonesian driver's license. You could get it without paying an agent. It's gonna cost you a lot less, but you're gonna spend, I think it'll take like 3 trips to the police station, and you're probably going to spend like 12 hours in line at the police station. So I decided to pay a bit of money to not have to do that. And the reason I decided to get one is because right after I got my motorbike, I got pulled over by the police. And that's really common here. Police here don't need a reason to pull you over. In fact, the reason they pulled me over and will pull you over is because they see a foreigner and they see dollar signs. They know that you're not going to want to go to a courthouse and pay the $10 ticket when you're in Bali on your stay. Most tourists just aren't going to want to deal with the hassle of that. So they offer to graciously accept $70 cash from you instead. And this obviously works out pretty well for them. So they pull tourists over every chance they get. And yeah, so if you're going to be in Bali for more than a month and plan on riding a motorbike, it probably makes sense to plan on getting the Indonesian driver's license when you come here. All right, guys, that is everything I spent money on last month, bringing the total to $1,110. And when I reflect at everything I spent money on, the way I spent money, I honestly feel really good about it. I feel like I had a really good standard of living for the money that I was spending. That being said, there are going to be a couple changes I plan on making to the way I spend my money next month. For one thing, I plan on spending a lot more money on accommodation. I really like to do a lot more traveling around Bali, and that's going to mean spending a lot more nights in hotels. So hopefully I can bring that unexpected cost section down a little bit, bump up the how much I'm spending on accommodation. I also want to bring food down because I spent a lot of money on Western restaurants and then also groceries. Definitely got ripped off, might be the wrong word, at the grocery store a couple times by purchasing things like a little bit of spinach that ended up being $14 that I, found out the next time I was at the grocery store that spinach cost $14 because I didn't look at the price of things every single time on every single item. So that is definitely something I'm going to work on improving for next month. And last but not least, I'm also going to reduce the amount of meals that I eat at Western restaurants and take out food and go to local warangs a bit more often. I really enjoy Indonesian food, and it's so much less expensive than Western restaurants, and I actually enjoy it more. So I'm just not going to eat as many Western restaurants this month, and I'm going to eat a lot more Indonesian food. And that's it for this one, travelers. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about coming to Bali, and maybe I can make a whole separate video about it. And yeah, travelers, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.